Alex Donno is the host of Locked On Canes and the Locked On ACC podcast as well, and he hosts the Hurricanes post-game show on this very radio station, and he's our Canes expert. So what was your reaction last night? You're watching the college football playoff committee's decisions, seedings, rankings, and you see it's going to be a long road to hoe to get into the playoffs. What was your reaction watching it?
Yeah, I was disappointed, obviously, because if Miami's going to get in, you need to be in the top 10. Being number 12 is not good enough because there are going to be two auto bids. They're going to jump over number 11 and number 12. So disappointment is obvious, but I was not surprised. Now, there are still people out there, and even the committee chair, and every time I listen to the committee chair, I feel dumber than before I listened to him speak. But the committee chair did even give an opening that, hey, you know what? If Miami and Notre Dame were to find themselves back to back and not having teams between them, they have one team still between them because Notre Dame moved down one spot to number 10. BYU is at 11. Miami is number 12. So he basically says we cannot possibly weigh the head-to-head because there have been teams in between them, but maybe if they find themselves back-to-back. So he's kind of leaving the door open. But again, I still feel that if they felt that Miami should be ranked in front of Notre Dame, why are they not ranked in front of Notre Dame now? That's what I'm wondering about the committee. If they're going to next week magically decide, you know what happened August 31st actually does matter. What happened between their four common opponents suddenly does matter. I don't know why they wouldn't do that on Tuesday night, why they would wait till Sunday to do that.
And Donno, because Notre Dame and UM aren't playing. So the thought is, how are they going to move anywhere when they're not playing? But you just said it, BYU's between them. So if Texas Tech beats BYU, now the Canes move up, and then they're going to jump them again because he just said that foolishness the other night. If they're back-to-back, now you go head-to-head. Do you think that, what is it, Alabama, Georgia, or BYU, Texas Tech, do you think that could vault the Canes into the college football playoffs? Because rationally, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so with BYU, I think they have a must-win on Saturday in their conference championship game, because just the fact that BYU's even ranked this low with only one loss, the committee does not have any love to BYU. There are certain programs, Alabama, they're going out of their way to help Bama. Notre Dame, they're obviously going out of their way to help Notre Dame. BYU is not going to get any help. The only way BYU gets in is if they beat Texas Tech. Texas Tech already blew out BYU this year, and Texas Tech is far better on paper than BYU. So I think BYU is going to be out. So your scenario does stand. Alabama is the other team that has a conference championship game. Now, even though I think BYU definitely could lose their spot if they lose the conference championship game, I have my doubts about the Bama situation. Now, obviously, people put their tinfoil hats on and assume the SEC is going to get favorable treatment. But the situation Bama is in, so this past Saturday, Crowder, Alabama, they beat 5-7 Auburn by 7 points. And the committee was so moved by that performance, they decided to move Bama up a spot. Meanwhile, Miami beat the number 22 team in the country 38-7 on the road. They don't move up, but Bama beats a non-bowl eligible Auburn team without a coach, and they move up a spot. So I believe the committee, in my humble opinion, is putting Alabama in a situation where if they lose a close game against Georgia, which I think is the most likely outcome, I think Georgia probably wins a close one. I don't think either team is getting blown out. So I think if Bama loses close, the committee can say, we'll move them down one spot, but they're still in the playoff. And obviously if Bama wins, they're a lock. So I think there's a real scenario where BYU drops out. And then, like you said, Miami would have to hope that if BYU drops out, that Miami and Notre Dame are only separated by the one spot, and then the committee maybe is actually going to say, yeah, you know what? We forgot Miami won when they played ahead. Maybe it's time to jump Miami in front. So I think that's Miami's only hope.
Donno, what's the end goal here for the Canes after this season? Because in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, what's the point of scheduling Notre Dame? What's the point of scheduling the University of Florida? What's the point of having a season where you beat Notre Dame, you beat Florida, you beat USF, you beat FSU, and the committee still says, well, you're in the ACC, you had 2 losses, so we don't really care about what you did on the field anyways. You're not making the playoffs. Just schedule Bethune. Schedule Florida A&M. schedule my FIU Panthers. I don't mean it as a slight. I'm being honest. What benefit does it give the University of Miami outside of TV exposure if it's not going to end up resulting in them beating them and getting rewarded for it?
Right, exactly. And because I'll take it one further. Notre Dame gets more benefit from losing to Miami than Miami got from beating Notre Dame, because the best thing on Notre Dame's resume is their losses. Oh, they lost to a ranked Miami. They lost to a ranked Texas A&M. Never mind the fact that Notre Dame's best win was against a 9-3 USC team, and they haven't beaten anybody who's currently in the playoff field. So I'm with you 1,000%. Like, for whatever reason, Notre Dame gets more out of losing to Miami than Miami gets out of beating them. And like, I totally think you're right that this gives you less incentive to schedule not great, non-conference opponents. It doesn't, unfortunately, the situation that the ACC is in is they have a, and again, the ACC commissioner he's a bum. But Jim Phillips now has requirements. Since Notre Dame has a scheduling agreement with the ACC, you're kind of locked into playing them. And then I think also Miami probably feels like if we go and cancel the game, then we look soft. Like, I don't know if that comes into Dan Radakovic's decision-making or not. But you also mentioned, Solana, there is an obvious benefit to playing Notre Dame, and that's, the TV ratings are going to be through the roof. I think over 10 million people watched Miami versus Notre Dame on August 31st. So, I mean, you have to kind of decide, is the extra TV money worth potentially getting screwed out of the playoff if you beat that team? I don't know.
Where do you fall on this? If the Canes don't make the playoffs, Dono, which is your approach? Hey, don't lose 2 games that you should win. So ultimately, it's Mario's fault. If you handle your business against Louisville and SMU like you should, then you wouldn't be in this situation. Or do you take the track of, hey, you went 10-2. You beat some class opponents like Solana just laid out for you. You had a couple stumbles during the season, but most teams do. So great season, Mario. Great season, Canes. You got ripped off by the committee.
I lean more to great season, and this is not to completely excuse those losses, but I think you have to lean more to great season for a couple of different reasons. Miami killed, at least this year, they killed the narrative of, hey, this team, once they lose, they never bounce back, or they can't win in November, right? They ended November with 4 dominant wins, including a road game against Pittsburgh. A lot of Miami fans didn't think the Canes were going to win that game. I talked to Hurricanes fans every single day, and my comment section was like, it's cold. We're going to lose. It's Mario in November. We have no chance. And they go out there and win that game. And this is consecutive 10-win seasons now, Hawk. First time Miami has done that in consecutive seasons in over 20 years, 2002 and 2003. So I do lean to, like, this is a really good season. And also, like, this 10-2, I think this 10-2 was even better than last year's 10-2 because Miami had a tougher schedule this year. Like, the schedule was much easier last year, and they faded at the end of the season versus finishing the season strong. There's obviously a little bit of nuance to this because, yeah, they should have been able to beat Louisville in a close game. And the SMU thing, I mean, listen, I probably blame the ACC officials on that as much as I blame Miami, but you could say it shouldn't have been that close. So, yeah, I wish the team was perfect. They're obviously not perfect yet, but I do lean to 10-2 with some quality wins. This was a really good season, and it's probably a season that should be enough to get them into the playoff.
And Dono, that SMU, and I've talked about this before with Louisville. They're trying to keep the games close, and that the style of ball Mario plays, where the style points is what this committee's doing. We're talking about the BCS versus the committees, where the human beings are watching it. They go out there and run damn Pitt off the field. That was embarrassing for Pitt's football program. Like, will Mario learn from this year if they don't make it? Or if they do make it, just learn from this year. Go out there and put 50 on the board and don't leave this up to anybody.
Yeah, and I think he didn't even have to wait till the end of the year to learn it. I think he learned it in mid-November because that's when you really started to see things turn around. And I think you have to give credit to personnel as well, because I think it was a little like late October. Carson Beck was in a funk. He started the season strong. He finished the season really strong. I think that they were calling plays a little bit like late October, first game of November to kind of protect him a little bit. And then I think towards the end of the year, like when Miami discovered Gerard Pringle, who's a true freshman, he was ready to go like late in the season. He was able to really open up their running game and make it more explosive. And, throughout the season, every week, Malachi Toney got more and more comfortable. Just like the amount of responsibility that Toney was able to take on as a guy who's getting targeted 15, 20 times per game, catching 12, 13 balls per game. He's throwing passes. He's running it 3-4 times a game. Like Miami, I think Malachi and Miami both got more comfortable with each other throughout the year, and that helped the offense become more open and more explosive. But I think there was also the conscious effort. So I would like to think and hope that, like you said, Crowder, Cristobal did learn that, hey, we need to do what we were doing in November this year. This needs to be Miami's identity full time.
Alex Donno, check out Locked On Canes podcast, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you next week, Donno, about a college football playoff matchup that the Hurricanes will have. If not,
and
we'll
who
talk
knows?
about
The committee is so unpredictable, and I'm not ruling anything out.
Anything could happen. Anything. You're saying there's a chance.
It sounds like let's go Texas Tech. So BYU falls out, and if BYU wins, there's no chance.
No, yeah. If BYU wins, our goose is cooked.
Yeah.
Our cookie is crumbled, as they say up there.
We got a goose cooked if BYU wins. Put that on the podcast, Jimmy. The goose is cooked. Scenarios in which the goose is cooked. See you, Donno. We love you.
See ya.